قل لئن اجتمعت الإنس والجن على أن يأتوا بمثل هذا القرآن لا يأتون بمثله ولو كان بعضهم لبعض ظهيرا.
Say, if all the humans and the jinns banded together to produce a Quran like this, they would not be able to produce one like it, no matter how much assistance they give each other.
So Gaussian-Mersenne prime. So just like the way we had a Mersenne prime, and we can extend this to the complex domain and define what a Gaussian-Mersenne prime is. If we regard the ring of Gaussian integers, we get the case of b is equal to 1 plus I or and b equal 1 minus I, for which the complex number 1 plus I to the n, to the power n minus 1, remember in the case of Mersenne prime it was 2 to the p minus 1. This is 1 plus I to the n, okay, where I again is the square root of minus 1. So it's a complex number to the power n is a Gaussian prime, which will then be called a Gaussian-Mersenne prime. Okay, again, this definition is on wiki page. You can go ahead and find this. Okay, so n can be 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 19, and so on. And then the norm of those numbers becomes 5, 13, 41, 11, 13, and so on. So what you'll do is you'll get these numbers, but this is complex algebra, so it's not that simple to do. And then as the number increases, n increases, you really need a computer to do this. And but what we are going to be dealing here are only the exponents which are tangible, actually, like 4253 and 353. Okay, so here in this table, I tabulated some of the Gaussian-Mersenne primes, and as you see here, the exponent of the 19th Gaussian-Mersenne prime is 353. And as I said, the number itself, 1 plus I to the power of 353 minus 1, is a rather large number, i.e. its norm, and so. However, 353 is a tangible number that we can deal with, and people who are looking at this, they can actually have a feel for the number rather than a large number that no one can relate to. Okay, Gaussian-Mersenne primes, GMP. The 19th Gaussian-Mersenne prime is, open parentheses, 1 plus I, close parentheses, to the power 353 minus 1. So the exponent of the 19th GMP is 353, and the number of frequencies of Ha plus Mim in Sura 42 is 353. So now recall that the exponent of the 19th Mersenne prime was 4253. So that established the fact that chapter 42 has 53 verses. The exponent of the 19th Gaussian-Mersenne prime is 353, and this one establishes the fact that the number of homims in chapter 42 is 353. So one will generate the number of verses in chapter 42, and the other one the number of initials or the homims in that chapter. And as you see here, this is what we have. This is from book by Khalifa, visual presentation of the miracle here. And so I just copied that and put it here. And as you see that chapter 42 has 353 Hamim's in it, frequency of Hamim. And here another one, Gaussian composites, I've listed here for you. These are the ones that are not of the type of 4n plus 3. The primes that are not 4n plus 3. 19 is 4n plus 3 because it's 4 times 4, which is 16, plus 3 is 19. 17 is not. Okay? 17 is 4n plus 1. Okay, so that means 4 times 4 is 16 plus 1 is 17. So 17 is called a Gaussian composite. Okay? And so in this case, it's the fourth Gaussian composite is 17. So the 209th Gaussian composite corresponds to the index of a prime, which is 422, and is 2917. Okay, Gaussian composites, and so I have a table here that I actually put the 209th Gaussian composite in red, and as we see, the 209th Gaussian composite is 2917, which actually is the 422nd regular prime. So 209 is the total frequency of Ain Sin Qaf in chapter 42. Note that Ain Sin Qaf is mentioned in chapter 42 verse 2. This is the Hafs version only. So 2917 is the 11th permutation of 1279, and the 19th permutation of 1279 is 9127. And Surah 9 has 127 verses. Note also that 209 is 11 times 19. It's basically the two primes that constitute the indices of 2917 and 9127. Okay, so and we go to the next slide. Okay, here there are three versions of the Quran in circulation. So I have the Hafs version, which is the most popular one, on the right side, and so we have 209, 422, 2917, and so we want to show here how this mathematics actually tells you which one is correct. The last version of the Quran, which is Hamim, Ain, Sin, Qaf, and then also verse 3 also all bundled up together as verse 1. And there's an unknown version here, Hamim, Ain, Sin, Qaf, which is bundled up together as verse 1. They are not actually generated by that line in the Gaussian composites. 209th Gaussian composite is 2917, and it's the regular prime 422. And so it says yes, there are Ain Sin Qaf, and the Ain Sin Qaf, the counts are 209 repetition of letter Ain, Sin, and Qaf in this chapter. And Ain Sin Qaf is supposed to be in chapter 42 verse 2. Thereby you have the 422 as the index of 2917. So it actually forces that ayah or that verse to be in 42.2 by the virtue of this mathematical line, which is an eternal statement. Okay. So again, as I said, total 209 is the total frequency of Ain plus Sin plus Qaf in Surah 42. Note that ASQ is mentioned in 42.2, Hafs version only again. Okay. Now that we focus on indices 209 and 422. So 209 is the 68th semiprime. Okay. And 422 is the 133rd semiprime. And it happens that Surah 68 has 133 frequency of the letter Nun in that chapter. Okay. And Also recall that 68 is the last initial chapter or surah in the Quran.